Hello, and welcome. My name is Lily ASMR, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that I find very interesting, and I think that a lot of people who watch ASMR are also very interested in, and that's sleep. And to be more specific, how you can get better sleep and how you can get more sleep naturally according to scientific sources and studies, of course. At this moment, I have to make a disclaimer. I'm not a medical doctor or a healthcare professional. However, I am a journalist. I have studied communication and media here in Greece, where I got my bachelor's degree, hence the accent. And I have been working as a journalist for several years, and during the past few years, I have also been working as a healthcare journalist and health reporter, which means that I have researched these topics a lot. I have read a lot of studies, a lot of books, listened to a lot of podcasts. Of course, I have interviewed several doctors, dietitians, and some personal trainers, over the years. And I think that the topic of sleep has been getting more and more talked about because people are starting to realize how important it is for both physical and mental health. So I've done a lot of research. Actually, I have it right here. I have all my notes right here. As you can see, I came prepared. I have my studies, I have my data, and I'm going to be reading from them. That's why I'm going to be looking at the screen and not you. I'm sorry about that, but it's impossible to remember all of this by heart. I will list all of the sources and the links down in the description box below. I will try my best to not forget anything, but if in case I forget anything, just let me know in the comments and I will try to fill everything in. Don't get too frightened. Don't worry. It's not gonna be something super weird or complicated. This just all some practical advice that you can easily understand and use, because after all, I am a journalist, even though this is not I'm not doing my job here in this channel. It's just a relaxing video that I thought would be interesting, but it's always very important to me, and it's always a priority for me, just from being a journalist, to make it easier for people to understand more complicated topics, because especially when it comes to healthcare, there's a lot of advice and a lot of it is contradictory. So I'm going to give it to you very simple and very easily. However, of course, if you have any health problems, or if you're suspecting that you have any health problems that are causing you trouble sleeping or staying asleep, or even being energized after 8 or more hours of sleep, you do need to talk to your doctor. This advice is purely, for people who don't really have a good sleep hygiene and a good everyday lifestyle, and that's what's making the sleep worse. I'm going to be talking about sleep schedule, sleep environment, diet, and some exercise, just general guidelines and routines, how long you should be sleeping, all that stuff. So let's begin. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that we all know that sleep is very important, but sometimes we don't really realize just how important it is. So I have reading here that according to recently published research involving 172,321 adults, men who get adequate sleep live about 5 years longer than men who don't, and for the woman the number is 2 years. And unfortunately, the number of people that don't get adequate sleep is alarmingly high. It's about 1/3 of people that don't regularly get enough sleep, according to the Mayo Clinic, and this can increase your risk of having cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, dementia, diabetes, and other health problems, as well as it affects your mental health and mood. So the first part that we're going to talk about is how much sleep do you really need? Now, for most adults, the experts say that you should be sleeping around, from 7 to 9 hours. According to the National Institutes of Health. I will leave that link down below as well. Now, the exact amount of time you will need to be sleeping, it kind of depends on your age and gender and overall health. In general, older people need less sleep than younger people. So for older people, you're gonna be in the lower end of the 7 to 9 hours, whilst for younger adults or even teenagers, it's gonna be 9 hours or maybe more. There's also research that shows that women need slightly more sleep than men. I found a 2013 study in the American Sociology Review, and they said that women on average need an extra 11 minutes, which is not a lot in my opinion. However, I have also seen a few other sources claim that women need up to half an hour more, which is more significant. There was a study going around on Instagram and TikTok where people claimed that women need to be sleeping for 10 hours a day. I looked for that study a lot, but I could not find it, so I cannot confirm if that's the case or not, because if I don't read it, I can't know the sample size, I can't know the methodology, so I cannot really weigh in and say if I think this is a data that we should take into account or not. Now, in addition to that, I also want to add that women they tend to suffer from insomnia twice as much as men, and that's probably partly because of hormonal reasons, but also because of lifestyle reasons, and in particular, yes, according to Michigan Medicine, much of this has to do with hormones, but some of it has to do with their different lifestyle, and most importantly, overlap of giver responsibilities and work. And women are also more likely to suffer from mood disorders, which is also something that can affect sleep and make you sleep less, or suffer from insomnia, or cause other problems in regards to sleep. Now, what time do you need to go to bed? That's a question that a lot of people have regarding sleep, and in my opinion, that's very easy, since you need to sleep from 7 to 9 hours every day. That means that you need to go to bed 7 to 9 hours before you have to wake up, plus an extra 15 to 20 minute buffer is not gonna hurt you, of course. However, according to the official Harvard website, it is very important that you only go to bed when you're already starting to feel sleepy, because that will strengthen the connection in your mind between your bedroom and sleep, and that means that you shouldn't be watching TV at bed or at your bedroom at all. You shouldn't be scrolling through your phone or even reading books. In fact, Harvard recommends that you only use your bedroom for sleep and more intimate activities, because that's what's going to strengthen this connection in your mind, and it's gonna make it easier for you to fall asleep. Okay, now, In case you find it difficult to sleep, so you're at bed and you're turning around and you can't sleep, after maybe 20 minutes, just get up and do a relaxing activity. Do not look at your phone or any screens. Just do something that you find relaxing. Maybe drink some chamomile tea or have a hot shower. And once you start feeling sleepy, then you should go to bed again and try to sleep. Now, regarding early birds and night owls, that's something that a lot of people have been talking about recently. Yes, they do exist. However, from what I researched, I have found that scientists, they don't all agree on how important the genetic component is versus the lifestyle component. Basically, there's strong evidence to support that up to a certain degree genetics do play a role regarding whether you are going to be a night owl, which means that you're going to naturally feel more comfortable and it's going to be easier for you to sleep later and wake up later, versus an early bird who just wakes up early and likes to sleep in early. Now, most societies are made almost exclusively in mind with early birds as a like the normal. The banks are open in the morning. Most jobs are morning jobs, so it is an extra difficulty for people who are more who find it more natural for them to wake up later and sleep later. However, there are some things you can do within your control in order to improve your sleep and have an easier time adjusting to a different chronotype. And a lot of scientists believe that you can change your chronotype up to a degree if you use certain practices, adjust your lifestyle. But basically, they don't all agree on how flexible the chronotype is to being adjusted through lifestyle intervention. Now, for part two, is what the choose basically. How do you sleep better and how do you rest better? Okay, so the first thing that you need to know is that it is important to keep your circadian rhythm regulated. I just wanted to give a right definition so that we're all on the same page. So basically, your circadian rhythm is like your body's internal clock that tells you when to sleep, wake up, and feel alert or tired. It runs on a 24-hour cycle and is mainly controlled by light and darkness. In the morning, sunlight signals your brain to wake up and be active, and at night, darkness tells your body to produce melatonin, a hormone that makes you sleepy. So when your circadian rhythm is stable, you wake up easily, you sleep well, and feel more energetic during the day. But if it's out of sync, you may feel tired, groggy, or have trouble sleeping. The internal clock also plays a big part on other important functions in the body, such as digestion and metabolism, heart rate, blood pressure, immune system function, brain function, and mood. And that's why inadequate or bad sleep relates to a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, as I said earlier, obesity, and several mood disorders. How you're going to keep your circadian rhythm regulated? Basically, the number one, the most important thing that you need to know, and like if you don't listen to anything else I say in this video, just listen to this. You need to have a consistent sleep schedule. You need to go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day, and that includes the weekends. That means that if you have to be awake by 7 a.m. on weekdays so that you're at work at 8 or 9 a.m., that means you need to go to sleep by 10 p.m. or 12, somewhere there in between. And that means that every single day, including the weekends, 7 days a week, you are going to be going to bed at 10 p.m. to midnight and waking up at around 7 a.m. Because if you don't, and if you just choose on the weekends to go to bed at 2 or 3 a.m. and wake up at like 11 or noon, you're basically going to be in a perpetuate state of jet lag, and you're never going to get fully rested. You're never gonna get used to your schedule, and it's always going to be changing. Of course, there are exceptions to this rule. For example, parents with very young children and babies, and shift workers who are not able to follow such a consistent and steady schedule. And of course, they're going to get any sleep that they can get, because in this case, that's the most important thing. However, it is important to note that shift workers in particular have a significant higher chance of various health issues with ours associated with a disturbed circadian rhythm. And let me read the source here. According to the official website of UCLA, shift workers are more likely to suffer from cardiovascular disease, cancer, gastrointestinal disorders, mental health disorders, and metabolic disorders. In fact, I did find a study on the American Journal of Preventative Medicine with a sample of 74,000 people. That is very interesting. It found out that those working for more than 15 years on rotating night shifts had a 38% higher risk from dying of heart disease than nurses who only work during the day. Surprisingly, rotating night shifts were also linked to a 25% higher risk of dying from lung cancer and 33% higher risk of colon cancer death. The lung cancer could be explained by the fact that the night nurses probably smoked more than the day shift nurses, but still the higher chances of death from cardiovascular disease and the colon cancer death are extremely impressive in a bad way, though. They're not good. I also want to say that the opposite is also true. I found an analysis, in fact, a comprehensive review that analyzed 41 studies involving over 92,000 participants. It found that consistent sleep patterns with regular bedtimes and wake-up times are associated with better health outcomes. So I'm also going to link all of that stuff below if you're interested to read them. And now let's go to the third part, which is sleep environment. That's an easy thing to do, right? Because it's not very easy sometimes to just wake up at 7 a.m. during the weekends, but it's easy to control our environment a little bit better. And of course, you can like tweak your schedule a little bit. Like you could wake up at 8 or 9 and go to sleep like at 1 a.m. during the weekends, but just try to not go over like a 1 to 2 hour difference at most. So about the sleep environment now, it should ideally be cool, dark, quiet, and comfortable. And according to a Healthline article that was medically reviewed by physician assistant Thomas Johnson, for most people, a bedroom temperature should be between 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, or 15.6 to 19.4 Celsius. That is considered to be the optimal temperature for sleeping. And indeed, a cooler room helps lower core body temperature, which signals your body it's time to sleep. In addition, when it comes to your sleeping environment, use blackout curtains or blinds or a sleeping mask in order to make sure that everything is nice and dark, because blocking outside light is very important to keeping your circadian rhythm regulated. I also have two fun facts when it comes to sleep that you might find helpful and useful. Number one, if you need a nightlight, choose a warm red tone light instead of bright white or blue ones. And number two, if you suffer from insomnia, there is some research that supports that weighted blankets and weighted metal chain blankets in particular can improve insomnia symptoms. In fact, a randomized controlled trial in Sweden showed that weighted blankets could improve insomnia, daytime symptoms, and activity levels in various psychiatric disorders, which supports that weighted blankets could also be beneficial to people who have anxiety or other mental health diagnoses. Besides, another randomized controlled study showed that after using weight blankets, insomniacs had improved sleep quality, shorter nighttime awakenings, reduced self-reported stress, and enhanced relaxation. So maybe consider a heavy blanket, and in particular a weighted metal chain one. Okay, so let's go and move on to our fourth part, which is sleep hygiene. It is considered ideal to create a relaxing nighttime routine that starts around 30 to 60 minutes before you actually go to bed. According to the Harvard newsletter with the title 8 Secrets to a Good Night's Sleep, it says, when you were a child and your mother read you a story and tucked you into bed every night, this comforting ritual helped you lull you to sleep. Even in adulthood, a set of bedtime rituals can have a similar effect. Rituals help signal to the body and mind that it's coming to be time for sleep. Some calming activities that you can try before going to bed are the following. You can read a book, you can meditate, you can do some gentle stretching, listen to some soothing music, listen to ASMR videos, take a warm bath or shower. And regarding the warm shower in particular, I also have some extra info. A meta-analysis published in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that warm baths or showers 1-2 hours before bed helped people fall asleep faster and improved sleep quality. So, a lot of people know that at night you're supposed to take a warm shower, and in the morning you're supposed to take a cold shower if you want to wake up and feel more alert. A lot of experts recommend that you take a warm bath or shower 60 to 90 minutes before bed for the best effect, and the ideal water temperature should be around 104 and 108 Fahrenheit degrees or 40 to 42 Celsius degrees. Now, you can also try drinking a nice beverage before sleep. In particular, chamomile. It contains apigenin, an antioxidant that binds to receptors in the brain to promote relaxation and reduce insomnia. Or you can try some warm milk, which contains tryptophan, an amino acid that helps produce serotonin and melatonin. It can help you relax and fall asleep easier. I'm sorry if I'm murdering the names of the substances here, because as I said before, English is not my first language, so some of those words in English I have only seen them in writing. In general, it is very important to hydrate well during the day if you want to have a good sleep. However, it is best advised to refrain from drinking too much water just before you go to sleep, like an hour before you go to sleep, because this will probably just wake you up for a bathroom visit, and it can ruin your sleep sometimes. So avoid lots of water just before you go to bed, and possibly avoid very salty foods during dinner, because this is gonna make you drink a lot of water, and then you're gonna be having the same problem. Now, something that a lot of people might not know, and that's something that I don't remember that any doctor has advised me about when interviewing them. That's something that I found while doing my own research. There is some research that suggests that tart cherry juice can aid sleep, especially for people with insomnia. In fact, a small study of 50 people published in the American Therapeutics Journal, the researchers found that participants who drank 8 ounces of tart cherry juice twice daily for 2 weeks gained an additional 84 minutes of sleep compared to study subjects who consumed a placebo drink. So that's very interesting, even though it's a relatively small study. It is a study with humans, and 84 minutes is an important amount of sleep. That's probably because certain chemicals in tart cherries boosts the availability of tryptophan, but this beverage is also rich in melatonin, and it is suggested that you drink tart cherry juice 1 to 2 hours before bed, and if you don't like the flavor, you can dilute it with water. Lastly, a lot of people find the practice of meditation relaxing. If you want a nice ritual before going to bed, there are a lot of body scanning exercises that you can try, visualization techniques, yoga, and other things. Although what I would personally recommend is NSDR, which is short for non-sleep deep relaxation, which originates from the Indian practice of yoga nidra. I actually have a video on my channel right here where I combine yoga nidra with ASMR, and I will link that video. It will be the first thing that I link in the description box below if you're interested to check it out, and if you want to know exactly how it can help. I have sources under that video. By the way, did you know that there is finally some research that supports that ASMR may be actually helpful for people who try to sleep? The Sleep Foundation notes that ASMR triggers feelings of pleasure and relaxation, potentially increasing hormones like dopamine and oxytocin, which are associated with improved sleep quality. So that's good. That's interesting in my opinion. Lastly, I want to add, before we begin with the next section, that one thing that a lot of experts claim to be helpful is that you should be exposed to the sun once you wake up, ideally right after you wake up or a few minutes later. Just go outside and maybe take a walk. 10 to 30-minute walk is enough on a daily basis to help regulate your circadian rhythm. There is a lot of research regarding that, and we already know that light plays a very important part when it comes to signaling to your brain that you should be awake or that you should start getting ready for bed. So that's what I wanted to say about the sleep hygiene. Let's go to part 5, things to avoid. Now, the one thing that you should be avoiding, and it's something that you've probably already heard, it's screens and phones and TV and all those electronic devices that we really enjoy looking at right before bedtime and when we wake up. However, those devices emit blue light, and that's why we should avoid them for at least 60 minutes before bed and do all of our nice nighttime routine things that we said before, like the warm shower and the chamomile tea and the books. Now, to explain it in simple terms, when I say blue light, I have stolen the definition from the Sleep Foundation. So here it is. I'm gonna read it to you. Blue light is a portion of the visible light spectrum that can influence alertness, hormone production, and sleep cycles. The wavelength of the light is emitted by LED and fluorescent lights, as well as many electronic devices. There are several studies that support that blue light not only makes it harder for you to fall asleep, but it can also result in poorer quality of sleep. And that's because it suppresses melatonin. That was the number one thing to avoid. Now, for other things that you should be avoiding, we have coffee and alcohol and caffeine in general. It stays in your system for hours and it can delay sleep onset, keeping you awake at night. A small study with human participants that was published in 2013 writes, the magnitude of reduction in total sleep time suggests that caffeine taken 6 hours before bedtime has important disruptive effects on sleep and provides empirical support for sleep hygiene recommendations to refrain from substantial caffeine use for a minimum of 6 hours prior to bedtime. So, ideally, if you go to bed at like 11 p.m., that means that you should stop drinking coffee at least by 5 in the afternoon. And the earlier you stop, the better it is for your sleep quality and quantity. Now, when it comes to alcohol, it might make you sleepy, but it can disrupt your sleep, leading to poor quality rest. And that's why you should avoid alcoholic drinks at least for 4 hours before going to bed, according to the Sleep Foundation. Something else that you should probably avoid is sugar, spicy, and heavy food right before bed. In particular, consuming sweets and sugar can lead to rapid spikes and drops in blood sugar levels, potentially disrupting your sleep. Some studies link high glycemic acid index diets with insomnia and sleeping issues. On the other hand, spicy foods can cause acid reflux and heartburn, raising body temperature and making it harder to sleep. Heavy fatty meals take longer to digest, which can lead to indigestion, bloating, and discomfort at night. Now, part 6, diet and exercise. I'm going to be a little more specific on what to eat before bed, when to eat, how exercise can help you sleep better, and when to exercise. Okay, so the first question, what to eat before bed. Carbs can help you sleep due to their role in serotonin production. In fact, a 2007 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that carbs eaten about 4 hours before bedtime helped people fall asleep faster. So that's good. That's probably because carbs help increase tryptophan uptake, which boosts serotonin and melatonin, making it easier for you to fall asleep. The complex carbs such as whole grains, oats, sweet potatoes, etc. are ideal options because the fiber in those complex carbs helps your body regulate the blood sugar better and avoid sudden spikes, promoting a deeper restful sleep, according to a 2022 study published in Nutritional Epidemiology. Now, when it comes to protein, it is advised that you take just moderate amounts of protein, especially products that are high in tryptophan, such as turkey, eggs, and dairy. However, too much protein before bed might slow digestion and make sleep less restful, so that's why you need to be moderate. And when it comes to fat, just a little bit of healthy fat is good, such as fat from nuts, especially walnuts, some olive oil. You need a balance between moderate amount of protein, lean protein, healthy fats, and some carbs. Complex carbs is good. I also have written down that eating kiwi has been linked to improved sleep onset, duration, and efficiency, possibly due to its antioxidant properties and serotonin content, according to a study published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics in 2022. Now, when should you eat your last meal before bed? According to an article written by registered dietitian Roland Panov on Very Wealth Health, experts agree that waiting 2 to 3 hours between your last meal and bedtime will allow your body time to digest and prepare for an optimal night of sleep. Of course, if for some reason you're very hungry and you want to eat something more, just get a snack like some Greek yogurt with nuts, or like some whole grain toast with some peanut butter and banana is good for a bedtime snack. We don't want you to starve or anything, of course. Another question that I have is, should you exercise in the morning or later in the day for better sleep, or even in the afternoon or at night? Now, I want to make it very, very clear that regular exercise is extremely important for a good night's sleep, and it's very important for you to feel rested and to have a good quality of sleep as well. I have written here that according to a systematic review published in the Frontier Psychiatry in 2021, regular exercise has been linked to reduced insomnia severity and decreased daytime sleepiness. So that's very important, as you can understand. And to see meaningful benefits for sleep, most experts recommend getting a minimum of 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise, and of course at least twice a week of strength training like weightlifting or Pilates or whatever you like, which is the general guidelines from the World Health Organization for healthy adults in general. So that's something that you should be doing anyway, not just for good sleep. And if I recall correctly, I don't have that written down, so don't quote me on that, but I think that you can see extra added benefits the more you work out, up until 600 minutes per week of moderate aerobic exercise. Now, according to the Johns Hopkins official website, engaging in moderate to vigorous physical activity can help you fall asleep more quickly and enjoy deeper, more restful sleep. However, exercising especially vigorously 1 to 2 hours before bedtime can have an opposite effect for some people. This doesn't necessarily mean that you should only work out in the morning. Just monitor how you feel, and if you notice that you have a difficult time sleeping after vigorous exercise late in the evening, maybe try not to exercise a couple of hours before going to bed, but you can definitely exercise in the afternoon if you want to. Now, part 7, supplements for sleep. Now, the best supplements for sleep are always the supplements that contain nutrients you are deficient in. In the West, the most common deficiencies are the following: vitamin D, approximately 42% of US adults, vitamin B12, up to 20% of older adults, vitamin B6, approximately 20% of the population. Iron deficiency, it is prevalent. We don't know the exact numbers, but a lot of studies have found that around 50% of women are deficient. Magnesium, up to 60% of Americans do not meet the estimated average requirement for it. Calcium, over 50% of the global population consumes less than the recommended calcium intake. Zinc, approximately 17% of Americans consume less than the recommended zinc intakes. And potassium, most Americans consume only about half the adequate level of potassium. A lot of the aforementioned nutrient deficiencies can have symptoms that are related to sleep problems and low energy levels. And for most of this, I used an article called Common and Critical Vitamin Deficiencies in the Western Diet that was written by Berg and published on Medium. It will be linked in the description box below as well, along with everything else. It's very good, it's well researched. It also explains all the symptoms when you have the deficiencies and the reason why they happen very clearly, and I highly recommend that you go read it if you're interested. I want to say that ideally you only want to supplement if you're deficient in something, because supplementation when you're already in the healthy or optimal range can potentially cause nutrient toxicity, which can obviously have many ill effects. So you can always go and get a blood panel, although there is a potential exception, and this is magnesium, because only around 1% of the magnesium is stored in the blood. So you could have low magnesium inside your cells, which would not appear in regular blood panel. However, there are more accurate tests made to measure magnesium levels, and if you suspect that you might be low on it, it is advisable that you talk to your doctor about it, and they will guide you and tell you what you should be doing for your particular situation according to your medical history and symptoms. Now, the most common and effective supplements for sleep are the following. First of all, we have melatonin. Melatonin is probably the most popular sleep supplements. Probably the number one, now that I'm thinking about it. It helps regulate the sleep-wake cycle, making it useful for jet lag, shift work, or insomnia related to delayed sleep phase disorder. However, long-term use may reduce natural melatonin production, causing morning grogginess and other problems. So it's a good thing to take if you travel abroad and then come back and you need to find your rhythm again, but it's not ideal for every day, in most cases at least. Now, magnesium supports the relaxation by supporting certain neurotransmitters, making it ideal for stress-related insomnia and restless leg syndrome. However, high doses can cause diarrhea, so choosing well-absorbed forms like magnesium glycinate is recommended, although again, it's very important to ask your doctor first. L-theanine is another supplement that has recently been getting traction. It increases relaxation without sedation, making it useful for those with anxiety-related sleep difficulties. A lot of people combine magnesium with theanine for better results, but you need to know that it may lower blood pressure too much in some individual, and it's especially not advised for people who are taking medication for their blood pressure. Glycine is also Another supplement that a lot of people think of when talking about sleep, it lowers body temperature and improves sleep quality, especially for those who wake up frequently. However, some people may experience mild digestive discomfort. Again, it is advisable to talk to your doctor before you take any supplements. Now, one of the most effective supplements for sleep is the valerian root. It acts as a natural sedative by boosting certain neurotransmitters, making it helpful for those with mild insomnia or trouble staying asleep. But it can cause grogginess, dizziness, or headaches in some people, so you need to be careful with it. It can also be pretty strong. So talk to your pharmacist before you start taking it for sure. The last that I'm gonna talk about is it's something that has been getting very popular, I think, during the past like 15 years or so. I think it was popular before, but now, at least here in Greece, CBD has become legal during the past few years, and in other European countries as well. It is CBD, cannabidiol. It helps with anxiety and stress-related insomnia by interacting with the endocannabinoid system. The effects can vary widely, and it may cause drowsiness or interact with medication. So that's it for the supplements. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. There's also a lot of other details that we could be talking about, but I think it's been going for over 40 minutes now, and we've covered all the basics. If you're interested in anything else, just ask me in the comments down below. I'm very interested in this particular topic, as you can all understand by my ramblings. Now, if you tried all of the above natural ways to help you sleep and feel rested, and they're still not working, this could possibly mean that there are some other underlying issues that could be causing your problems. And the most common ones include number one, physical health issues like metabolic syndromes and cardiovascular disease. These have been proven to cause problems related to sleep and energy levels. Some mental health disorders also are correlated to a higher risk of insomnia and other sleep problems, especially depression and anxiety, but borderline personality disorder as well. Some medications like ADHD medication, antidepressant, decongestants, corticosteroids, thyroid medication, antihistamines, and many more can cause problems when it comes to sleep. And in that case, you should definitely talk to your doctor about it, because it is important to try and change your medication if it's not working for you. There are usually lots of other options. And the last thing that could be causing your problem is some sleep disorders such as apnea, narcolepsy, or RLS. If you're suspecting that you might have any of these problems, physical, mental health disorders, or that your medication is causing you sleep issues, you should definitely talk to your doctor about it, because they're the only ones that can help you really figure out what's going on and choose the best treatment path for you. So with all that being said, this is the video for today. I hope you have a great day and a good night's sleep. I will see you in the next video.